Hello, family. My name is Chris. I am your home gamer dad, and for today, let's talk about Super Boss Monster from Brotherwise Games. Super Boss Monster is the newest version of the widely popular game Boss Monster, which first came out in 2017. Great shelf life on this game, let me tell you. Tons of expansions, tons of things that you could do with the base Boss Monster, and now we have Super Boss Monster, which, as you can probably expect, it's a lot of the same, but a lot more as well, as you would expect from something that is, well, super. Super Boss Monster is a 1 to 4 player game out of the box, though you can get it up to 5 or 6 players depending on your expansions, and plays in roughly 30 minutes, though I have heard stories and experience for myself that game taking much longer depending on your player count. At its core, Super Boss Monster is a card-laying game where you are taking the role of a boss, a end of a stage, end of a dungeon, giant monster whose entire goal is to defeat the heroes that you lure into your dungeons. Once an adventure has started its way through your dungeon, all your traps and monsters trigger, doing as much damage to it as possible. If you manage to defeat the adventurer in your dungeon, your boss monster gains their soul. Most souls at the end of the game wins. However, if the adventurer does make it to your boss's lair, they're going to deal a wound to you. Take too many wounds, you're going to be a dead monster. So that's like the simplest form of the rules for both Boss Monster and Super Boss Monster. They follow the exact same structure going into it. However, as I mentioned before, Super Boss Monster just adds more to the game. It adds that whole new mechanic where you're taking a little minion token that you have and placing them on the board, a little bit of worker placement on there. And then, of course, they can use that worker placement ability in order to add more stuff to your dungeons. Now, if you are an avid Boss Monster collector, meaning that you have been with this game since 2017, or maybe you just started collecting it not too long ago, like yours truly here, do not fret, because everything you buy for Boss Monster, that would be the base game, Next Level, which is the second version of Boss Monster that came out, Rise of the Mini Bosses, every one of the little expansions, all of those cards for Boss Monster will work with Super Boss Monsters. That's one of the coolest new things and abilities that this game has that I never expected to see to begin with, because it's like you spend all these years collecting these things. Now number 2 comes out. Well, what do I do with my number 1s? All goes into this game as well. It is fantastic. The other thing that Super Boss Monster adds to the world of Boss Monster is a solo player mode, which is something people have been begging for a while. There's been some pretty cool stuff that has been created by fans and everything, but this is the official one that Brotherwise Games have put out, and that's the one I'm going to mostly be talking about once we get down to the table. Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and jump down there right now? We'll take a look at the components that you'll find within this, and again, this is like the base box, and I bring this up in terms of like its size because, man, do I got a bigger box to show you later for all your stuff, but the components that you'll find in here, some upgrades that I got for it, the boards themselves, the rulebook, and then, of course, generally how to play. So let's head on down and meet our bosses. All right, and here you go. So now in the original Boss Monster, as you saw from like the smaller box that I had from it, it was really just cards. It was a stack of room deck cards, spell cards, heroes, both regular and epic, and then of course your boss monsters themselves. I don't think that there was any counters in the original, maybe a few for later ones at the very least, but in Super Boss Monster, at least for this, a lot of the room cards that you get within Super Boss Monster focus a lot on putting counters on things. So that's like a big mechanic that Super Boss Monster adds in. In addition to that, it makes use of the minions that come with it. This all right here are generally what you're going to get in the base game, except for the fact that these are all deluxe style tokens. This is generally what you can expect to find within the base game for Super Boss Monster, should you not have any of the advanced tokens and everything. It's the exact same things as you see here. All of the minions are the bigger tokens, like the thicker ones and everything, so those come in the base game, but like this sword icon is different in the deluxe version as opposed to the actual game version. It really doesn't matter, personally. I like the deluxe versions because, you know, bigger chips are nice. But these are pretty sturdy, pretty thick and large tokens. So if you don't have the deluxe ones, don't think like you're really missing out on much. We're all getting pretty much the same stuff here. All these are double-sided, 3s and 1s on one side. It's just, you know, you got these for the base and then these for if you have the collector's box. Collector's box comes with a few other additional components to this as well, but for right now, this is Super Boss Monster, the room, the spells, and the heroes, and all that other stuff. As far as the bosses go, I believe Paper Croak and Kick Racks right here are the promos that came with it. All the rest, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bosses? No, there's actually 12 that come with it. I wonder if I forgot to pull them from the box because I have like a lot of stuff as well and it's all like mixed together. Really, it comes also down to the point like if you have Boss Monster or any of the other ones, all your bosses can be smooshed together into one pile anyway. So that's all fine. So there are more bosses in this game than you see here as compared to what I have. Now, as far as the new thing that's been added is this. This is the town board right here. You got an area where you're going to be putting your stack for your heroes, and then they're going to be coming out on the board. This is on the solo mode right here. Let me just flip this over so you can get a good idea of what it looks like for the rest of it. So this is for the 2 to 3 player mode. And then right here, I have an actual extension for the map that adds 5 and 6 players to it. This is a neoprene mat, actually, that I got. I love the sword. Oh, man, the graphics on this are so awesome. I love the designs. But basically, this will add more players to your game, adding another new symbol right here, as well as giving you more options in your market area. But this is, again, a neoprene map. I don't know if they make just a regular board for this. They might. I honestly do not remember, as I've destroyed a lot of my tokens down here. They also come with 2 more minions. They are blue and green, if I'm not mistaken. Green and white. That's what it is. Green and white, plus, again, the deluxe version for the 5th symbol that they added in. But that's, again, all for if you're doing 5 or 6 players of the game. Normally, what you're going to be doing is probably just doing 1 to 4 player games. If you want to have any of the extra, you are going to need to buy one of the expansions from Boss Monster in order to gain you all the extra symbols and everything. But before we go into that, let's talk rulebook, shall we? So, again, I love... Oh, my goodness. It's like... I love the thoughts and the nostalgia that go into Boss Monster. That's what actually drew me to Boss Monster to begin with. Just the design of it, the pixel art and everything. You know, the original Boss Monster was 8-bit. Of course, we're in super mode right now, so we've gone 16-bit, and everything is just so much cooler and so much clearer. That said, reading through the rulebook isn't really that bad. Again, if you are familiar with Boss Monster, this is going to be a lot of the same things in terms of how things are set up, where all your characters go on it. You're really just kind of learning what the town map does, and then, of course, how to set up your initial games, whether it be how many characters go into each deck, which heroes you're going to use, if you need to remove any spells, things along that ways. And then, of course, the turn sequence of play is going to be the exact same no matter what. You got the town phase where the heroes come in, you're building your dungeons from there and casting certain spells. The new action you have is the minion phase, where you're going to take your minion, put them somewhere on the board to do something, baiting in your heroes, bringing them into your dungeon in order to myrtleize them. The adventure phase where they go through it, where you're either going to collect a soul or they're going to wound you. And then, of course, the end of the turn where it's kind of a cleanup situation. And then you pass the little crown and it all does it again. What I do like about the rulebook is you have a bunch of different things along the sides here that give you a little bit more insight about certain rules of the game, a little bit more clarification, tips here and there about how to, like, you know, build your dungeon, battling the heroes. I like the bottlenecking hero idea and everything. Showing you how to build things. You know, it's really cool the way that they have all this set up. And of course, as you go along, you got all of the fun little characters popping up and everything, giving their 2 cents about stuff. But as you can see, I'm flipping through. We're on page 14 and 15. It feels long. It feels like a long rule book personally, but there's a lot to look at. It really doesn't take that long to read through. They just put a lot of these like images and like fun little like tidbits and you know, skits and feedback and all kinds of crazy stuff along that ways. Feedback, I don't know what I meant by that, but whatever, you know what I mean. Just a bunch of things that you can look at along the ways while also figuring out how to play. But again, just want to mention it one more time. If you're familiar with Boss Monster, this should not be new to you. None of this should be new, with the exception of the new spots that you would have down here, Minion Action Spaces, which comes with the Super Boss Monster game. There are some treasure icons, Explorer, there you go, Crash Landing Expansion. There you go, that is what you would need, the Crash Landing Expansion, in order to be able to play 5, 6 player, or just add another symbol to your game. I'm going to talk about dilution and everything and a little bit later when I give a little more opinions on this. But what else we got? We got the launch pad over here. But combining other expansions, that I'm also going to talk about a little bit later as well. And then all the way back here on page 20, they talk about the solo mode, which is going to be what I'm going to mostly focus on when talking to you guys about this. So just 2 pages of solo. It's really not that bad. Solo is a beat your own score style game. So that's one of the things I'm not a big fan about. I wish it was a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. There's no campaign to this like you find in like Overboss or whatever, but that's going to be the end of it. And then of course, the very last page here is your turn progress, various icons that you're going to see, and then things that you're going to see in the town. Before going into solo mode, I do want to talk about combining everything together. Now, I have seen lots of threads on BGG about different ways people do it and their strategies and how they're able to kind of randomize all their stuff into their games and everything. But because Super Boss Monster has been around for so long and it's released a ton of expansions, and each expansion adds something fairly new mechanically wise to the game, that you really can't play a game of Super Boss Monster with every single expansion mushed together, because you're going to be looking for symbols for, you know, if you have the Crash Landing, the Explorer one, or you're going to be looking for coins if you have the mini bosses, because you need coins in order to power them up and everything. And they could just be all different places, you know, within the deck. I mean, as is the basic room deck for this is, you know, this big right here. And this is with your traps and your monsters, both the standard and the advanced version. You're going to mix everything together. It's going to be like a deck this huge. You really got to keep it down to only about 80 cards or so in order to be able to pull what you need to pull and get some synergy together. Does that mean that you shouldn't combine everything together like a wild time within Boss Monster? Go for it. If that's how you want to do it, then I say all the power to you. But I understand a lot of problems people have with combining all the sets. And it's just like, you're just not going to be pulling the things you want. It's going to be a super swingy game where you're either going to get everything you want really quickly and it's going to go by like that, nice and easy, or you're going to have a huge problem struggling through the game, just trying to find the symbols you want in order to lure the heroes to your dungeon. Speaking of which, let's talk about solo mode right here. I flipped the board over in order to be able to see this. So normally speaking, whenever you're playing a Super Boss Monster or Boss Monster, whatever, and you're playing with the 2 to 4 players or however many you have, your idea is just to kind of go through the hero deck. You're going to go from top to bottom. Heroes come in 2 flavors, regular heroes and epic heroes. The epic heroes are stronger. They have more health to them. Some of them do specific things like special abilities, but they all give you souls at the end, which are what those little coins are there. You collect souls, you power up other things, and it is great, wonderful, and all that in between. Solo mode's a little bit different because you're kind of just running through whatever you have here for your heroes, trying to like just beat your best score every time that you play. Setup is the same for a regular game of Boss Monster as it is for solo mode. You're going to deal yourself 5 cards from the room deck, and you're going to deal yourself 2 spell cards. So you have a nice little 7-card hand right here. And then this is your market. Every turn during one of the phases, you're going to be able to go in here and draft one of these cards into your hand. You're going to get 1 spell card and you're going to get 2 room cards to choose from. Again, you can only pick 1. These are all going to go into a discard pile, and there are spells that pull from the discard pile. There are rooms that pull from the discard pile and all kinds of stuff where even though it's discarded, that doesn't mean that you can't get it. The big thing with Boss Monsters is you want to look for these symbols down in the bottom right corner. Now I'm playing as Paper Croak right here, which is so awesome. I love it. 2-dimensional Tyrant. Fantastic. He has 222 experience. This is just a tiebreaker for the beginning. Like, who goes first is the one that's worth the most experience. You're a solo player, so it doesn't really matter. But he does add 1 sword to your basic tableau here that are going to pull heroes into the dungeon. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to build a room based off of what you have. And I can look through this and take a look at all the different rooms, and each one has symbols on the bottom. Now, I probably don't need the Space Phantoms. I get rid of it because I don't have this symbol anywhere. Again, I just kind of pulled stuff from the box just to give examples, but right there, that's an initial point of how things could mess up your game and get a little confusing and like not really work out very well. I could put this down if I want to. I could still play with it, but this symbol isn't going to do anything for me because I don't have heroes that have the adventurer symbol on it. What I am going to do is show you that there are other things here that have multiple symbols on it. So this one has a sword and a book. Now, as heroes start coming out here, I can find heroes that are attracted by swords and tomes or books or whatever you want to call it. And they're going to be the ones that get pulled to my dungeon because they see these items and are like, hey, I want that. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and draw out our first 3 heroes. They're going to be put down from left to right. Now, what this little symbol right here is you don't have to use these symbols when you're playing solo, but I'm going to advise using them because it's going to make the solo experience a little more challenging and better for you in the long run. The adventurers are going to be looking for this particular symbol up here in the corner. So for example, this gladiator is looking for a sword, this fighter is looking for a sword, and this thief is looking for a money bag. Once you place them on these particular spots on the in the town, this is going to tell you that they are going to be looking for that many more symbols that they have up here. So this gladiator is actually looking for 2 swords. This fighter is looking for 3 swords. This thief is looking for 4 money bags. And that seems like a lot right now, but it is very possible that you're able to do it. Now we're going to go ahead into the drafting phase, in which we're going to go ahead and take one of these cards from here and add that to our hand. Again, here's electrical. I don't need it because it gives me the adventurer symbol, so it doesn't really matter. I could take the traveling library or the counterfeit map. There's just a bunch of different things that you can do with these. Reveal and discard a room card. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab the magic cards. Just to I like having spells in my hand because these things do a lot of great things. And then we go ahead and build another room. Normally what you do when you're playing Boss Monster with someone else is you put your room face down, and then in 1, 2, 3, everybody reveals it at once. And there are rooms that have when revealed effects and everything like that. But for this situation, we're not going to do that. I don't think I have any more swords in my hand at all. No, I do not. But I do have, so we have monster rooms, which are right here. Trap rooms have the little skull on it. And then you have advanced rooms, which are gold. You can only place an advanced room on top of a room that shares the same symbol on it. So that's like the little Ankh right here. I would need to have one of these as an Ankh in order to place it on top. I'm pretty sure I don't need to place a monster advanced room on top of a monster room. You guys let me know down in the comments. I got to look it over again. I forget. But otherwise that, I can also, as long as it's a regular room, I can just kind of cover things over as I go along. But you don't want to do that. You want to be able to build up your dungeon to get to the maximum of 5. Because once you build your 5th room in your dungeon, right now I have 2, the level up ability will happen. It's every boss monster has a special ability. As soon as you have 5, this triggers. And for here, for Paper Croak, it's for the rest of the game, whenever your minions visit an action spot in your own dungeon, that room gets +2 token to the end of the game. That means these spots right here. So if I bring my minion to this spot, this room would have +2 until the end of that turn. So that +2 would actually come off. With that said, now that I have built another room in my dungeon, I'll move that over and show that a little better. We can now take our minion right here. The minion can be placed in various spots along the town. There's actually 3 spots per location that they can go to. The first ones for each one of the locations is basically adding a symbol of that type to your dungeon. So I put this guy right here. I can say, haha, I have added another sword to my dungeon. So if I needed another sword to bring in somebody, they would. I could also do the money bag right here, but I don't think that's going to really matter because it's only 2 money bags. He's looking for 4, all kinds of stuff along that. The other symbols do various things as well. This first one right here means that I can take any one of these cards from the market. So I can just get another card to my hand. This is take the top card of the room deck. Whatever it is in my hand, hooray. This one over here is I draw a spell card, I discard a spell card. Very nice cycling right there. And this final one right here is until the end of the turn, the last card in my dungeon gains a +2 counter, making it a little bit stronger. I'm actually going to put my guy right there because I can put +2 on this. So now that is actually a 3 count, but I'm just going to go 1, come here, 2. So that's good. And then I also have the Hall of Doors right here, which is when your minion visits the hideout, which is exactly where I am. I give this room a +1 counter. This is a permanent counter now for the rest of the game. In solo mode, you can only have a maximum of 4 counters on any one card. In addition to that, as I'm playing my rooms and doing my counters and everything, I do have spell cards that I can play, and they have different symbols on the top as well. The hammer one can be played only during the build phase. So as I'm building my dungeon, I can play any cards that have the hammer symbol on them and do whatever the ability is. On the attack phase, or whatever phase is that? That's the adventure phase. That's what this one is. When the heroes come into the dungeon, that's when you can play this one with an axe. There are spell cards that do have both symbols together, so you're going to be able to play those at any time. They do a lot in order to help you out. Like I have the super card right here, which I'm probably going to use, dealing 3 damage to a hero in your dungeon. The heroes right there now are doing a lot of damage, so I kind of want to I want to knock out as many of them as I can. All right, so I've done all of that. I've set up my minion, I've taken my stuff and everything, and now the heroes are going to start going. We're going to start from the left and work our way to the right and see if we have see who we're able to pull. This gladiator we're going to be able to pull because we have at least 2 of these swords in our dungeon, so he's going to go right here. Unfortunately, I cannot pull the fighter and I cannot pull the thief. So with that saying, the gladiator will then go to the adventure phase. He's now going to wander through the dungeon, so he'll go right here, take 1 damage, go right here, take 3 damage, and I think, yes, I will go ahead and play my super card, dealing 3 damage to him as well, thus defeating this gladiator. By defeating the gladiator, I flip it over, I can put it right next to I'll probably put it under him just so I can have it that way, and show how many souls I have collected so far. So I have 1 soul. If this guy managed to hit me, then it would be a wound instead. And if I ever get 5 wounds, then that is an immediate game over for solo mode. But I have a soul right now, so that is basically 1 victory point for the end. And that would be the end of the adventure phase. And now we're in the final phase, which is cleanup. So anything would go to a discard pile. We just put the discard pile up here for the heck of it, recalling our minion back to here, and then we move on. The heroes in solo mode all move down to the far left spot. So now this guy only needs 2 swords. This guy needs 3 money bags. And now we're going to deal out 3 more heroes. You're always going to deal out 3 heroes. So we're going to go 1, 2. That's a lot of money bags. 3. Because he is off the board, the far left character moves down and starts working their way through all of these buildings right here. This has now covered over, what was that? The temple. I can use my minion to put right here and automatically lure him into the dungeon. The thing is this will give him 2 additional health. So he'll have 8 health going into the dungeon, but I won't have to worry about finding all of the, if I don't have enough of the symbols in order to bring him in. I do, but I also am a little bit in trouble right there in terms of how much damage he's going to cause. For solo mode, you automatically lose if a hero ever goes into the tavern. That is what the little skull symbol is right there. So as you're going through each one of the rounds and building out your dungeons and everything like that, you really got to pay attention to where all of the heroes are on the board, what symbols you're looking for and everything, because if anybody gets here, game over. In the solo mode rules, they actually tell you what cards to remove from Super Boss Monster that won't be able to be used in solo mode. This is another thing that's a little problematic when it comes to mixing everything together as well, because for one, as I was showing you those examples, there were symbols there that I just will never use. It's the crash landing examples from that expansion that just happened to be in Super Boss Monster that will never show up within this game because I'm not using those particular heroes. Maybe I could, maybe I could. I think there might be actual heroes in here that I can shuffle in and everything, but you put too many different things in there, too many different mechanics within your deck of cards, you're never going to get what it is that you're hoping for, that you're looking for, that will be able to lure those heroes to you. As is, as you were seeing, I was having a ton of money bag problems. I was starting to build up swords. I didn't have enough money bags in order to grab everyone as well. Could I use the minion in order to get a money bag and start pulling people in and then throw another one down to make room with money bags? Sure, depending on whatever came out on the field. Which is actually something I forgot to talk about because at the beginning of the next round, this completely clears out as well. I forgot that. And then this will just reload itself. So even if you liked the cards that were here, they go away at the end of the round. That's kind of what these symbols are there for. Well, mostly this one, I should say. Because if there's something here that you really want, that you want to get into your dungeon, you can use your minion to try to grab it. But this fighter was covering this over, I wouldn't be able to use the special abilities of the temple until that fighter is gone. So it's, again, just hoping you see the symbols that you need come out. If they do, and they come out in the directions that you want, like the amount that you want, fantastic. You got this like nailed down. Otherwise that, it could be really, really difficult to to get a good working dungeon. I don't like that. Now, there are ways around everything. There are cards that if you happen to see it pop up, just kind of toss it aside, redraw something else, reshuffle in or whatever. If you have all of the boss monster stuff, I do highly recommend you find yourself, if at all possible, I just have the lid, I'm going to show you the rest of it. This right here, Boss Monster, this massive box is just huge, is your one-stop all for everything. I mean, the Super Boss Monster itself fits right in there. I have Boss Monster fits in. Check out this insert. This is nuts. Just clearing some stuff out of the way so I can put, oh man, look at this down. Oh boy, yeah. They really, really took the time to make this box amazing. I love all the different components. I love the way everything fits. It's so smooth, it's so nice, and it makes sense. And let me tell you, it is amazing. So this first spot over here is where you have the town board go in. All of your other rule books can fit in here, with the exception of the Super Boss Monster one, because it's a little bit too big. But you know, most other Boss Monster rule books are pretty small. They'll fit in here, no problem. Inside of this container, you have spots for your minions, so they'll all go up here and just like snugly fit there. You can have your, what is that, cardboard components over here, your plastic token components over here. You have coins for the mini bosses, and if you have any other stuff goes there. That crown first player marker, because if you're playing 2 or 3 or 4 players, once you're done with a round, the crown gets moved on to the next person, and then they take their turn. That fits there nicely. Very, very well thought out, very intelligently designed. Down here, oh my goodness, look at all this. So I got a neoprene mat up here of the town. This is double-sided as well. And then this is what I showed you before, the other neoprene mat for the 5 or 6 players. Look at all of this space. Look at it all. This is, I took out all of those cards that would all fit in here and everything, you know, this entire chunk of cards and everything. This is just Super Boss Monster, the promo cards, because I got a lot of promo cards off of this Kickstarter, and then I got the original Boss Monster and Boss Monster the next level. I've seen pictures of people that had every single Boss Monster, and it only goes up to about here. That's, I believe, sleeved as well. These will fit sleeved cards too, which again, thumbs up, thumbs up, up, fantastic. So I'm just using these plastics in order to keep everything up. It also comes with a ton of these dividers, if I can just pull one out really quickly, where you can write down whatever you want on here and organize them as you wish. Now, I've kind of have things organized with different, what is that? The advanced traps, the trap rooms, advanced trap rooms, monsters, advanced monsters. One of these is bosses. Yeah, so there's my boss monsters. These are all my boss monsters. Like, I have a ton of boss monsters already, and I only have a few expansions, which is absolutely amazing. Who is this? Who's this Game Boy guy? I feel like I need this guy for sure. Tell me what expansion he's in. I got to get more of this. I have my heroes in here. You're generally going to want to just use the plain named heroes, fighter, cleric, thief, and that's it. Any one of the heroes that have a special ability to them, which is usually something like this, may not work in solo mode. Again, you gotta read through each one and actually see if it's viable in your solo mode. So you will not, if you're only in this for solo, you will not be using every card every time. That's how, if that's okay with you, fantastic. If not, then, you know, that's just what it is. And here's my epic hero. Same idea right here. There's ones that have special abilities on them. There's ones that may have special dual symbols. Some of them have that. I think you're able to use that in solo mode. I got to look at the boards again. And then all of my spell cards. And yeah, these are all my traps. So this, if you have Boss Monster and you're an avid collector, this right here, that is what you need. The big old collector's box right here also comes with this handy sheet that is pretty much set combination guides. Tells you specifically, it's a way you don't have to look at it, I guess, and read it through. Thank you, Brotherwise Games, for doing this. What characters, what heroes, what cards, spell, trap, monster rooms, things like that, that you should probably remove or just kind of set that aside and everything. keep in mind these particular ones as you're combining them with other things. Generally speaking, Super Boss Monster is going to be your base for all that. You'll always have Super Boss Monster in here. They're kind of giving it more of an idea of like, don't be mixing everything together, kind of pick and choose them and everything. But again, it's up to you guys if that's how you want to do it. There's so many different combinations and so many different ways to play this game that the only thing that I really am not a fan of for solo mode is that it is just a beat your own score. Last thing I want to show for this box is that it does have like this really awesome like continuous scene. If I could get it without it being too blurry, just going all the way around the box, showing off all of the different like the bosses, the mini bosses, you know, things you can have, various traps, and all your different style of rooms and everything. I loved it. If it's the one thing that draws me to Boss Monster that I love more than anything else out of it, it's the art. It's so nice, so awesome. I love it. And the lid, there we go, better. So we have all of our boss monsters right here in their epicness, and we can flip this on over and just store all your entire boss monster collection in here. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be expansions for Super Boss Monster that comes out in the future. More stuff for the minions, more things to do and everything. 24 exclusive cards. There you go. There's a whole ton of things right there. Shows you how it's supposed to go together. This is your ultimate storage solution if you are a Boss Monster fan. If not, Super Boss Monster by itself is a boss-tastic win. Final thoughts on Super Boss Monster for me. Again, I love the art. I can look at these cards all day and just stare at them and see the art and design and the fun theming, and I guess you can find some lore within it as well for the world of Boss Monster. The actual game itself, the solo game, is okay. I've played it a few times. I'll probably play it a few more times, and if I manage to gain my hands on other Boss Monster expansions and everything, of course I'll throw it in there and everything and just kind of see how that works out. But this is going to be something that'll sit on my shelf until I have a game night, and Super Boss Monster is something that I would love to bring out in order for us to play in between bigger games. It is a lighter game for sure, much easier to get out on the table in the playthrough. Again, I've seen people say that this game is like a 2-hour game for them, and I don't really understand how, because it's simultaneous play of sorts. Like, everybody makes their dungeon, you flip it over, you do all your stuff, you pull in, then you'll go one at a time, figuring out which hero goes where, and then they just all go at the same time. So I'm not sure exactly how it would take that long for that many people, but, you know, maybe 5 or 6 people could take maybe an hour, 15, hour, 20 minutes, give or take. It also depends on how many expansions you have mixed in together. But with that said, guys, let me know what you think of Super Boss Monster down in the comment section below. Is this something that you are interested in and you're actually thinking about picking up at some point? Are you going to try to get that ultimate storage box collection for your giant Boss Monster collection? Or is the standard Super Boss Monster itself good enough for you? If I did not already have Boss Monster, if I didn't have Boss Monster Next Level and all that, I would probably say this is good enough for me. This is nice. This is a good set. This has room in the box itself for future expansions. Maybe not many, but enough. So if other Super Boss Monster stuff comes out in the future, I would definitely have no issues getting it into here. But because I have some stuff from, you know, older Boss Monster, and my FOMO is really bad, so I'm sure I'm going to be picking up more stuff eventually, I'm glad that I have that giant box in order to be able to put everything in. Will this hit the table often? I don't know. We'll have to see. But let me know as well if this is something you would like to see me play. I would be more than happy to show you guys a solo run of the game if you're really curious about watching me play it, see me play through it, and, you know, the strategies that I would use and things along that ways. And then we can just kind of go from there and, you know, maybe make a little series out of it. Who knows? But that I'd love to hear from you guys, you know, if that's what you want to see, and of course, your opinion of the game itself. If this is something you're looking to pick up right now, maybe I've convinced you to add it to your collection, down in the description section below and in the comment section, I pinned it, you'll find a link not only to the official Brotherwise Games website where you'll be able to see this, BGG, but also an affiliate link to Noble Knight Games that should have this on their website right now. Thank you to Noble Knight Games for allowing me to be an affiliate with you guys, partnering you guys up in order to be able to bring all of you out there as many awesome deals and games as possible. There is an awesome ability to be able to work with them and everything. And of course, if you head down there right now, every purchase through them go a long way to helping the Home Gamer Dad grow. It is a very appreciative thing for sure. Thank you guys so much. As always, again, If you want to see any future boss monster action, because I'm sure this isn't the last time we're going to see boss monster on this channel, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. I got this and a ton of other fun things coming out for you to enjoy. To support the channel even further, I mentioned the affiliate link down there below. There's a bunch of other things you can do as well, but in all honesty, no matter where it comes down to, your view, your like, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment down below and sharing this video go a long way to helping the channel grow. It is extremely appreciative, and I thank you, each and every one of you, so much. You guys are amazing. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together, boss monsters through and through, protecting our dungeon from those nasty adventurers, taking their souls and showing which one will come out on top. Thank you all again, and I will see you in the next one.